You know, in the electric vehicle world, some new cars are just new cars. And then, every once in a while, a vehicle comes along that feels like a genuine shift in the landscape. The Rivian R2 is one of those. It's a vehicle carrying not just the weight of a company, but maybe the hopes of an entire segment of the market. So, let's get right into it. Why all the hype? What is it about this particular SUV? Well, it's because the R2 isn't just another EV. It's an answer to a question thousands of buyers have been asking, and it's a direct challenge to the way things have been. For Rivian, this is their make or break moment.
To really get why the R2 matters so much, you first have to understand the big gap in the market that it's designed to fill. For years now, the EV SUV world has been pretty much dominated by one single idea of what a car should be.
And you don't have to take my word for it. Rivian's own CEO, RJ Scaringe, laid it out perfectly. He saw the massive success of the Tesla Model Y, and he didn't see a wall, he saw an opportunity. He saw a huge group of people who wanted something different, something more rugged, more boxy, something built for adventure.
And this really shows you the two different paths, doesn't it? On one side, you have that dominant template, sleek, minimalist, almost obsessed with aerodynamic efficiency. And on the other side, you have this adventure niche that Rivian is carving out. It's all about being rugged, practical, and having real, genuine capability when the pavement ends. This is where Rivian is placing its big bet.
So, with the stage set like that, in walks Rivian's Challenger. This is a vehicle designed from the ground up to be the answer for those adventure buyers, but it's got one huge difference from its bigger brother, the R1S.
And that difference, it all comes down to this one number, $45,000. That's the starting price. This right here is the game changer. It takes that whole electric adventure vehicle idea from a high-end luxury category and aims it right at the heart of the mainstream market.
The other number you really need to know is this one. The R2 is more than 15 inches shorter than the big R1S. Now, that might not sound like a lot, but that size difference is absolutely crucial. It makes it so much easier to handle in the city, way easier to park, and a heck of a lot more nimble out on a narrow trail.
And let's be crystal clear, the R2 is not just a shrunken R1S. Not at all. This is a totally new vehicle riding on a brand new platform. It was engineered from day one to be smaller, lighter, by over 2,000 pounds, by the way, and most importantly, much more affordable to build and buy.
But look, a good price doesn't mean a thing if the vehicle doesn't actually deliver on that adventure promise, right? So let's get into the details, the smart design choices that make this thing so compelling. Now this is what I'm talking about. It's not just a list of features, it's how they all work together. You've got nearly 10 inches of ground clearance, that's serious confidence for off-roading. The front and back seats fold completely flat. That's not just for hauling stuff, it's designed so you can actually sleep in the car. Then you have these awesome venting rear windows and tailgate glass that rolls all the way down. Think about carrying a surfboard or just getting some fresh air. It's all incredibly practical. And the frunk isn't some tiny afterthought. It's big enough for a carry-on and a backpack.
And that clever, thoughtful design just keeps going when you get inside. People wanted more storage in the R1, so what did Rivian do? They put 2 glove boxes in the R2. That awesome flashlight is still tucked right into the door, and they've added these cool new haptic scroll wheels on the steering wheel that just feel great to use. It all comes back to real-world usability, right down to making sure a 6-foot-tall person can actually stretch out and get a good night's sleep in the back.
Okay, so the design is smart, it's practical, but that's only half the equation for an adventure vehicle. It has to have the performance to back it all up. What's underneath the floor is just as important as what's in the cabin.
And Rivian is really offering something for everyone here. You can start with a really efficient single-motor rear-wheel drive model. You can step up to a seriously powerful dual-motor all-wheel drive version. Or if you're a real performance junkie, there's a wild tri-motor setup that'll launch this family SUV from 0 to 60 in under 3 seconds. That's supercar territory.
But here is the single most important promise they're making. Over 300 miles of range. And crucially, get this, Rivian says that applies to every single powertrain. You don't have to shell out for the most expensive model just to get a useful long-distance range. And for this part of the market, that is absolutely critical.
So you're probably wondering, how are they pulling this off? Well, a huge piece of the puzzle is this new battery cell, the 4695. By designing a larger, more energy-dense cell, they can build what's called a structural battery pack.
That means the battery pack itself becomes part of the car's frame. It's simpler, it's cheaper, and it's way faster to manufacture. This new cell is the key that unlocks both the affordable price and that impressive range.
So, we've talked a lot about the vehicle, but now we need to pivot and talk about what it all represents. Because for Rivian, the R2 isn't just another product launch. It's everything.
People are calling this Rivian's Model 3 moment, and honestly, it's the perfect analogy. Just like the Model 3 was the big test for Tesla, could they go from a niche, luxury brand to a mass-market giant? The R2 is that exact test for Rivian. Can they build this thing at scale? And can they finally start making money? The entire future of the company hinges on the answer.
And that road to success is not going to be easy. Despite all the brilliant design and engineering, the R2 is walking into a brutal, competitive market, and it has a couple of potential weak spots.
First up, charging speed. The R2 uses a 400-volt architecture, which is respectable. It can charge from 10 to 80% in about 30 minutes. But, and this is a big but, major competitors from Hyundai and Kia are already using 800-volt systems, and they can do that same charge in around 20 minutes. Believe me, that 10-minute difference really matters when you're waiting at a public charging station.
Then there's the reality of that price tag. While the $45,000 starting price is the headline that gets everyone excited, history tells us that the first models they actually deliver will be the more expensive, higher-spec versions. Most analysts expect those first R2s to land closer to $55,000. Now, that's still a huge savings compared to an R1S, but it's an important detail for anyone planning to be an early adopter. So all of this, all the promise and all the challenges, it brings us to one final, massive question about the ultimate fate of this incredibly important vehicle.
So when you boil it all down, here's where we stand. The Rivian R2 has nailed the formula on paper. It's got the right price, it's got the right design, it's got the right performance, it has all the pieces. But now comes the really hard part. Can Rivian actually build it at scale and make a profit? The fate of the company, and honestly, maybe the future of the entire non-Tesla EV market, is hanging in the balance.